Our session today on small buyouts was really about the compelling market opportunity that we see, both in the US and in Europe.
And in Europe, we focused on the key areas of outperformance, which in Europe have been in Northern Europe and in the small middle segment in technology.
We also touched on the opportunity and considerations for LPs looking at emerging managers.
This is important because we've seen changing dynamics in the US and European LP market, where historically more capital was being allocated to the US and more recently into Europe. And what we've seen is now LPs are seeking for key areas of outperformance in Europe as they increasingly allocate more capital to that market.
Yeah, this is important right now from a diversification standpoint, both from a company size and geographic diversification, like Carlos was touching on. LP portfolios are really overweight to large cap equities these days. Think of the Magnificent Seven stocks within the public markets. So in terms of diversification with smaller companies, that opportunity really exists within the private markets.
Yeah, so the key takeaway for investors is what we've seen over the last few years is that despite the inherent risk in the small market companies, what we've seen is resilience in the small market segment versus the middle and large segment.
Yeah, one of the key takeaways in addition to what Carlos mentioned is really just the outperformance potential relative to public markets, relative to other segments of private equity, including the larger buyout space. In addition, I think LPs are really appreciating that small buyouts have had an attractive liquidity profile over the last several years, in particular during a time when LPs are not getting distributions from the rest of their private equity portfolios. In addition, a key takeaway for investors is how to approach getting small market exposure. Thinking about the fragmentation of the manager landscape, there's quite a dispersion in manager quality and returns. So you need to be able to cover the space either in-house or if you don't have the resources to work with a partner like a StepStone.
And at StepStone, we do quite a bit of research, and we just recently published a white paper on one of the key areas of outperformance that we see in the European small market, which is in software investing.